Lesson 44, solving proportions using cross products and slope of a line. So proportion, if you remember, is just two fractions that are equal to each other. So if you just write two fractions, say 1/2 equals 6/12, that's called a proportion with the equal sign and everything. So if we were to multiply across, 2 times 6 equals 12. 2 times 6 equals 12, and 12 times 1 equals 12. Notice that those two numbers are equal. That's called the cross products. And if they're equal, the proportion is true. So let's do an example. If we have x over 10 equals 5 over 25, we want to figure out what x is. Since it says it's equal, we can do our cross products. So we have 5 times 10 has to equal 25 times x. So if we take 5 and multiply by 10, we get 50 equals 25x, and then we can divide both sides by 25 to find out that x equals 2. So in this case, x equals 2. Here's another example where we're missing a number in our proportion. 4 over 6 equals 6 over n. So we can take our cross product. 6 times 6 has to equal 4 times n. 36 equals 4n, so n equals 9. 36 divided by 4. That's how we use cross products to solve for missing parts of a proportion. Now we're going to go into slope. Slope is just the steepness of a line. How steep is the line? That's what slope is. It's a ratio of rise to run. If you remember, a ratio is a fraction. Rise is how many units does it go up or down, and run is how many units does it go left or right. A ratio is just a fraction. Rise over run. Sometimes I think of, well, I have to rise up out of bed before I run to the bathroom. So you got to stand up before you run. A positive slope, so let's see if you see a line that goes upwards from left to right as if you're reading, that's going to have a positive slope. So we're going to draw a little car that's going uphill here. So if it's going uphill, it's going to have a positive slope. Now if it goes downhill left to right, that is going to be a negative slope. So we're going to draw our little car going downhill. There's a windshield. So that's a negative slope. Now, if you have a flat surface just like this, the car can go either way. That has a 0 slope. The slope is 0. So here we have our car. Because it can go either way, I'm going to put the lights on both sides to show that it can go either way. That has a 0 slope. If you see an equation that says y equals a constant, that is a horizontal line. So if y equals 3, you're going to have a horizontal line at y equals 3. It will go up 3 units on the y, and then it'll just be flat. 0 slope. Now, if you have a vertical line, this is an undefined slope. So if you imagine, a car cannot even drive on this at all. It's just going to go right off. the cliff. And the people inside the car are going to say, ah, help us. That's an undefined slope. The equation of the line looks like x equals a constant. You're not going to have the letter y in your equation at all. To find the slope of the line of how steep it is, you're just going to put rise over run. Another way to write it is the change in y over the change in x. That little triangle there means change in. So how much did it change in y? If you had 2 points, you would take the y value of the second point minus the y value of the first, and then you would divide it by the difference of the 2 x values in the same order. This little triangle here is read change in. So the change in y divided by the change in x. So let's say we wanted to find the slope between these 2 points. So let's see, one point is -1, 0, and the other point is 1, 4. So we can look at our equation, y sub 1 minus y sub 2 divided by x sub 2, no, y sub 2 minus y sub 1 divided by x sub 2 over x sub 1. If this is my first point, this would be x sub 1, y sub 1. This one would be x sub 2, y sub 2. So we just take our second y, which is 4, minus 0, and divide it by 1 minus -1, which turns into 1 plus 1. So we have 4 divided by 2, and the slope is 2. And slope can be just a number. Okay, I'm going to turn the page, and we're going to show the slope between 2 points on a graph. How it looks on a graph. And I can rewind the video so you can come back to this page if you need to at the end. So if we want to find the slope between the point 0, 4 and -2, 0. So let's say we were going to graph it. So 0, 4 is just straight up 4, and -2, 0 is to the left 2. So we want to find the slope between these 2 points. So if you notice, we did rise over run. We can look at how far did it rise. From 0 up to 4, it rose 4 units. How far did it run? It went over 2. So because we went up 4, it's positive. Since we went to the right 2, it's positive. 4 divided by 2 is 2. So the slope is 2, or 2 divided by 1. Sometimes we like to have it as a fraction. If you're just answering what's the slope, you would put 2. If we wanted to graph another point on the line, we would want to know that we go up 2 and over 1. Every time we go up 2, we're going to go over 1. And that's the end of the lesson.